bring a friend day and referral weeks and all that stuff, like it's not going to do it. I don't care what they say. It's not. You can't grow a gym without marketing anymore, right? Early on you could, because like there were words and people are excited to do all this stuff, but now there's just so much competition. There's so much noise out there that if you're not in front of these people, you are going to get buried.
Sherman, so glad you're here, man. We're gonna dive right into this, because a lot of the questions that a lot of these gym owners have is they're going through their Instagram feeds, their Facebook feeds, they're seeing all their social media stuff, and it seems like every day there's a new lead gen agency, or there's a new marketing agency or firm that pops up, and they're promising all of these big results, and they've got testimonials galore. Gym Launch is a great company. I think they've done a great job over the years. We've got a ton of testimonials, but on the flip side of that, it's costly. At least they come out up front and tell you what that price is going to be. I've met some people who apply everything that they do, and it doesn't work for them. I've also met some people who've applied everything that they do, and it works really well for them. But also there's a lot of people out there who just don't do the work, or maybe they're missing the boat on some things. They've got gaps in their businesses. It could be the fact that, maybe they're struggling with sales, or they feel like they can be a multitasker, which I don't believe in. So there's a lot of things there, and here you are coming into the industry. I'm so glad you're on the show, because I think we're going to uncover some things that a lot of gym owners, they're looking at this and they're going, where am I going wrong? I'm putting all this effort in. I'm sweating harder than I've ever sweat before, and I'm just not getting the results out of it. The fruit of my labor is not there. So talk to me a little bit about how you guys are different as a marketing agency. What are you guys doing differently that really changes the way or the viewpoint? Why are you not just one of the the millions of people that are throwing ads out there that are saying, hey, we can solve this problem for you?
Yeah. So, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. I'm super excited, but let's jump right into it. I think, for us, which I know we're going to talk about a little bit later, I was a gym owner for 13 years. My business partner, Blake, he had 2 gyms for 10 years. All 3 of them were CrossFit affiliates. So
let's pause on that, because there's some statistics out there that say most businesses fail, small businesses fail within how many years?
It's a couple.
Yeah, it's like 2 years, right? So to even make it to the 5-year mark, I think it's like 90% of small businesses that open up fail within their first 5 years. So having a business for 13 years, that has some credibility in of itself. And then having your business partner who also works with you, 2 separate small businesses, right? Obviously, probably same brand, but 10 years. Yes. So I just wanted to throw it out there. So if anybody's listening and they're going, well, that sounds great, but it's really great. It's a phenomenal thing, because a lot of businesses just don't make it past that 5-year mark.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that, I know we'll dive into this a little bit later, Mike. I don't want to ruin it, but like my partner, he sold his 2 gyms. I didn't. I just shut mine down. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I know.
Into it.
So first of all, what makes it a little bit different is, one, we're gym owners turned marketers, not marketers targeting the gym industry, right? So everything that we did when we created this, it was, we've done Gym Launch, we've done New You, we've done some of this other stuff. We've heard about it, we've tried it, and here are all the things we didn't like, right? So we're going to do something that is going to be the antithesis of that. I look at those guys, nothing wrong with them, especially Hormozy. Shout out to him for selling for whatever, 60 million or whatever. So, but they were sort of the scorched earth method, I would say, right? Where they come in, it's just sort of scorched earth. You're going to burn out a lot of people. You're going to get a lot of people. Yes, you are going to make some money. Most of the time, I think, from what I saw with Gym Launch. But then it's going to be this cycle that you're going to be on forever. I need to gain these people because most of them are going to leave. And it's just a cycle that gym owners get tired of. You get burnt out on. And then also the big thing of it was the bait and switch. That really rubbed 95% of the gym owners wrong, because most of us didn't get into the space to really sell people in that way, right? So when many gyms had to, hey, it's free, but you got to pay me this. So many people still complain about that today. You know, one of the things is when we get on sales calls, that's one of the big things we hear. Hey, why are you different than ABC? Right? Mm-hmm. We're like, hey, this is what we do. Right? I think a big one is that gives us a lot of sort of credit is, hey, we've owned gyms for a long time. And then we sort of get into the story why we got out of the gym industry briefly. But, you know, the big reason we got out of the gym industry, both of us, is because Lasso was doing so well, right? Lasso was supposed to be like a little side project. Hey, let's do this. It'll be fun. We can help some people. And then this thing took off like something that we never even imagined. My partner, he was much smarter than me. He got out right after COVID, probably a year after being in the game. Correct. Yeah. But I was like, no, man, this is my baby. What do you mean? I've had this gym for years. I can't get up over this. And I was, like you're saying, I'm trying to multitask running Lasso and my gym. So I was stretched on both ends. I have a wife and 3 kids. And eventually I just got to the point where I was like, I just got to do it. Like, I just can't waste any more time. I wasted a couple years, you know, sort of dealing with both. So I just have to get rid of the gym. But, you know, for us, we over communicate with our clients, Michael. And what I mean by that, you know, you talk to real people every 2 weeks, right? Like, you got to get on a call with us. We're leading those calls. We're going over the top of the funnel. We're going over leads. We're going over revenue, because for us, a huge testimonial for us, Michael, is not like what many people would see. Hey, join us and get 62 clients in 13 days. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not our thing. Our like a huge testimonial for us is, hey, join Lasso, and 18 to 24 months later, we're going to double your revenue.
So here's where I think a lot of gym owners get it wrong. And I can say this because I was that gym owner. You go into the space and you think to yourself, there's a few things that you need. You need a nice club. You need the right equipment to your standards, right? Because a lot of times you're not asking all these questions or doing surveys. So you're identifying the things that feel like it's the right thing for you to operate what probably was a hobby at one point, and now it becomes a business. But a lot of gym owners, and this goes back to another question I'll ask you, a lot of gym owners, they don't start in the space of being a business owner. They don't go to school for business. And even in business school, they don't teach you how to run a business. They just teach you concepts. But when you're going through this, I mean, I got my master's degree in exercise physiology, and I always wanted to own a gym. And I remember writing business plans for owning a gym and putting it all together, even while I was in college, getting turned down on it because the banks weren't going to lend money to, you know, a poor college, you know, student. But as I went through that process, there were things that I picked up on and learned. The one thing that I didn't pick up on was the necessity for marketing. And every business needs sales and marketing. You have to have that because that's the front line. I was more of I would say an operational guy. So I got into the weeds on, you know, workflows and follow-ups and how things worked. And then I really got deep into sales, but I never, you know, flipped onto the marketing side. And I think that's still kind of the same thing or same way for a lot of small business owners, like these gym owners. They get into this kind of as a hobby because it's their passion. It's something they love. Yep. And they do it out of goodwill, out of the kindness of their heart. I mean, they really want to help people.
I agree.
They're not thinking about it as a business. They're not thinking about it as this thing's got to profit and this thing's got to make money. So they may not make the best decision on their rent or the lease that they sign, right? Or negotiating that. They may not make the best decisions on how they're hiring because they're just hiring people that they think are great coaches. And that's the extent of it, not giving them the other skill sets that they might need. And then you kind of fall into this category where you're just kind of doing your daily grind. And you might be good at sales, or maybe you're not good at sales at all and you think you are.
That's bad.
And you're losing out on this whole marketing side of things. And I said earlier, I don't believe in the concept of multitasking because I'm a firm believer that you can be maybe an A student in a few different things, like a few different roles, but if you overload yourself with so much in a day, like no different than taking classes in college or even in high school, if you just pile on a ton of classes, you're going to probably get C's and D's or, maybe fail them all because you can't spread yourself that thin. It's the same thing in business. You have to have support. You have to have team members with you that you can rely on that maybe do things better than you. So what I'm getting to is the fact that in the marketing space, I think a lot of gym owners just don't think about it. The marketing for them is like organic outreach, referrals. Let's go flyer things. Let's do a free week trial. Let's do that on our website. That'll bring a lot of people, but there's no strategy behind it. It's not like, let's think about this thing for the full year and let's plan out our next 2 months and what is it we're going to do. It doesn't always have to be paid ads. So think of a group like Lasso or True Marketing Agency as your part-time CMO, okay, or your part-time marketing director that's helping you evolve your business. So what do you find when you work with these gyms that are, I threw a bunch of things out there, but what is it that you're finding that these gyms are kind of lacking? How do you help them shift the way they think so that way they can excel?
Yes. So, I believe one of the big things that they're lacking is sort of long-term vision and clarity around what it takes to get there. Because similar to what you said, Michael, I was the same way. I got into the gym space just because I like working out. I didn't want to work a corporate job. For me, a CrossFit gym was easy to open, low barrier to entry. Hey, I'd rather do this than work 40, 50 hours a week in an office. So I sort of started that. But then
and you're working 70 hours a week at your CrossFit.
Yeah. Correct. But I got blessed. I was lucky to have guys around me that were high level entrepreneurs in other industries that helped me say, hey, you can't, what are you talking? No, you're not going to go out and buy all this new equipment. You have enough equipment. You don't even have that many people, So I believe a lot of times they get sort of distracted with all the new shiny stuff, right? It's, well, this came out. Oh, I need to go to this seminar. And it's just so much going on where they're not really laser focused on, like you said, growing the business. And at Lasso, we also work with a couple of franchises, and franchises, obviously they have their systems and, the things that they must do. And they are putting money behind paid marketing, right? Because they understand.
They have to.
Correct, right? Well, they understand
selling franchises.
Correct. So they're like, hey, you have to do this. You have to do this. These are the guys you go to. And it's just like, oh, this is a breath of fresh air. Now, here's the thing. I will say the guys and girls that open franchises, their problems are no different than the people that open, just the small affiliate model gyms, except they get many, many more opportunities to talk to people, to get in front of people, to change lives, because they do spend, it's a significant amount of money up front in comparison to just like for me, I opened my first gym. I ran it out of my garage and I had like $10,000. That was it. And these franchises, they're requiring these folks to spend $30,000, $40,000 on their grand opening. And this is how they open with 100, 200 people. They're just getting out in front of so many people. And a lot of these gyms, when they first start, they're bootstrapping, which there's nothing wrong with that. But the marketing, it just sort of like, I'll refer my friend base. Bring a friend. I'll coach a great class. But this is not back when I opened my gym in 2008 or whatever it was. You can't grow a gym without marketing anymore, right? Early on, you could, because there were words and people are excited to do all this stuff. But now there's just so much competition. There's so much noise out there that if you're not in front of these people, you are going to get buried. I don't care how great your product is. You are going to get buried because the people that stay in front of the folks that have a problem, those people are going to end up going to them, right? Just because when they see whatever, Barry's boot camps, whatever it is, when they see them 100 times when they're on social media and they see you once every blue moon because you have a friend that goes there, that power of just seeing that same thing over and over, they're going to end up walking through those doors and not coming through yours. So I believe that one of the biggest things is people just don't have a vision of where they want to grow and how to really get there. Because bring a friend day and referral weeks and all that stuff, like it's not going to do it. I don't care what they say, it's not.
And I think for a lot of gym owners, it's when they look at working with a marketing agency, they think to themselves, it's an expense and it's not an investment, right? They don't look from that lens. So I think a big shift, like you mentioned, franchises that are coming in and they got to spend $30,000 or $40,000 on their grand opening. Well, a component of that is built into the model based on what they know as a franchise group, what's going to work, right? You spend X, your return is going to be X, and it might not all happen in the first month or the first 3 months, but it'll happen over the course of 3 or 6 months because there's some long tails there on that spend that you've done, whether it's SEO or it's some marketing tools or website design or things that you put in the beginning to help reap the rewards later. Like you're planting those seeds early, and that's an opportunity cost that you have to get something else down the road. So I look at that and I go, yeah, but for a lot of these gyms, they're thinking, well, how much does that cost me? Mm-hmm. Right? What's my expense on that? And it's not what's the investment to get some kind of return out of it. And a lot of times, because I think we've had this backwards for so long, especially in our industry, is all these agencies, they would pop up left and right, using ClickFunnels or Go High Level, and they're just like building out these Facebook forms and these lead gen forms. And when they were doing this, you had like every new agency popping up everywhere, including overseas, right? And then now you can pay somebody a small fee to try and run your leads. And back in 2012 and 2013, you're getting opportunities for leads that are like, $2, $5 a lead. And that's shifted, and it's shifted because of the quality that you're expected to get, the algorithms on Meta. But the other piece that I think is shifted is the way that gym owners are thinking about this. And our thought, at least for me, was if I spend $1,000 this month, I should at least get $1,000 back or more. Right? If I spend 2, then I should get 2 or more. And it was all about getting enough leads to close enough deals to get people to buy, and then that would make sense and justify the spend. I think the way gym owners have to think about this now is not about that upfront cost for that first month. It's more about what is it that you're spending. That's fine, but that's an investment, because you may not make, if you spend $2,000 this month, you may not make $2,000 this month, but by the end of 6-7 months down the road, you might have a 10x on that $2,000 that you spent early on.
Exactly.
So, and that goes back to coaching and how you develop your plan and how you organize your offers. I even see gyms that offer, like, when I used to travel to China, I'd open up these menus, and I don't know if you've ever been there. Even in some Chinese restaurants here in the US, the amount of options you have to choose from to eat, like the menu's enormous. Like you'll spend an hour just trying to figure out what you want to eat. A Cheesecake Factory is a perfect example.
Oh man, we're not going to go on a tangent. I absolutely despise cheesecake. So my wife, she kind of likes it. She's like, oh, we should go there. I don't want to go there just because that menu is just too much. Like it's there's too many options.
You can't make a decision.
I can't. Sorry about that. Cheesecake.
But it's the same damn thing with some of these gym owners, right? They think that they got to offer more products, more services. Well, somebody didn't want to buy my 12-month plan on a monthly price. So then I got to do a monthly rate. Then I got to do a 6-month rate. I got to do a 3-month rate. And then I got to do another version of a rate for this group over here. And then this group over. All of a sudden they have like 30 different options for memberships. And there's no consistency on how they're operating, because they're just kind of like flying by the seat of their pants, trying to accommodate every customer, right? It's like, what music's playing on the radio station? Oh, that customer doesn't like it, so let's change it, right? It doesn't work. So what you guys are doing tell me how that, one, just so they have some clarity on this, and I'll give you a range to work from within.
Okay.
But what should they expect to pay? What should they expect their investment should be on a range per month?
Yeah.
Have a group like yours come in and help them really refine their systems and grow their business. That's the first question. And,
yeah. So
go ahead.
Oh no, okay, so I'll answer your first question. So I would say, for us, it's around a couple of $1,000s per month. That includes service fee and ad spend, right? So around a couple of $1,000s per month. Could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more. And we make that decision once we talk to the gym owner, because this isn't a sort of you just throw it in the box and this is what you have. We want to know, where are you? Like, where are you trying to go? Because a lot of times, like, we have gyms with us, they do $100,000 per month, right? So now that's great. They have a lot of members, they make a lot of revenue. So like, obviously gyms like that, they're trying to spend a little bit more, right? They're like, well, okay, I need to make sure that I'm replacing the 15 people that I lose every month.
Right.
But then we have smaller gyms. They're like, well, I'm just trying to, like, if things are going well, I just want to sort of take it to the next level. Well, they could be right around that $2,000 per month. But we have clients ranging a big sort of price range. But I would say if you're comfortable with around a couple $1,000s per month, we can definitely help you get to where you want to go.
And then what does that translate to? I mean, because again, I want everyone listening to understand. I wish I thought this way, 15 years ago, because I think my gyms would have done that much better. But I think the important thing is to understand that this is truly an investment for growth. So when you're investing that kind of money, one, personally, you're going to save time, right? You as a business owner, it's not just you trying to figure out how this whole thing works, right? How the funnel works, how people come in, what are they going to get? But the other piece is like, what is it that they should expect, right?
Yeah.
If they're going to spend that kind of money as an investment, what's the kind of return they should see over the course of, let's say, 12 months, as long as they're following everything that you're advising?
Yeah. So now that's a great question. So, one of the big things I want to touch on this quickly is the time, right? So there are a lot of agencies out there, which, like, we're not like that. We like to say we're a white glove service, right? And what I mean by that, there's a lot of agencies that say, hey, download this swipe file, watch these videos, get it set up. And if you have some questions, we'll help you a little bit, right? So you're still spending time.
Yeah. Go into the Slack channel.
Correct. With us, we are a white glove service. You don't worry about any of that. We curate the copy. StoryBrand certified guys here. We have photos, all of that stuff right there, so that the only thing that they have to worry about is closing leads when they fall into their CRM, get them in and sign them up. So now coming back to your question, a huge testimonial for us guys is not, like I said, 62 members in 18 days. Mm-hmm. It's sort of that slow, continual growth month over month. So if you spend $2,000 with us, let's just say you're getting, $20 cost per lead. That's a little high for us, but let's just say it just to keep the math easy. And you're spending $1,000 per month on ad spend. So you get 50 leads, right? For us, for 50 leads, we expect you to close 10 to 20% from lead to close. So if you get 50 leads, we expect you to close only 5 or 10 of them. So there's going to be 40, 45 people that are not going to sign up month one, right?
Yeah, but that's gold. You got
correct.
Yeah.
Great. You got their contact. Now you can nurture them so that when their pain point gets big enough, they come to you. So let's just say you're on the low end. You're closing 5 people per month, right? You close 5 people per month. Let's just say on average, you get another $1,250 per month. So you spend $2,000, you make $1,250 that first month, right? Now we all know, if you have a solid gym, people aren't going to join for 1 month. Unless your service is bad. And if your service is bad, we really can't help you with that. But let's just say if it's $1,250. So the first month is $1,250. And then those people are going to stick around. Let's just say the second month to do the same thing is now you got up to $2,500, right? So now you spent $4,000 over the course of 2 months, but now your recurring revenue is $2,500, right? So now it continues to grow slowly but surely. Every month we do this, you are spending. You are going to create a little bit more. And like you said, by the time the end of the year, the end of 2 years come, you spent, let's just say you stick around for 2 years, you spent 50 grand, but your revenue went from 20 grand to 40 grand on a recurring revenue basis.
Mm-hmm.
So the ROI on that is massive, right? Because yes, you spent 50 grand over the course, 48 grand over the course of 2 years, but now your business went from a $250,000 business annually to a $500,000 business annually. And I think that's the thing. A lot of people, they don't understand until we really educate them and talk to them about it. Just like, hey, remember now, some months you may sign up people, you may spend $2,000, you may make $2,500. You may sign up 10 people that month. That's fine. Some months you may only sign up 5. But over the course of the long term, you look at what you're putting out and what you're getting back. It's a no-brainer because if your business doubles in revenue over the course of 2 years, you've won big time. And we have that happen tons of time with these folks. And that's really our thing. You know, we want to see people grow consistently long term, a little bit here, a little bit there. And then when they look back 12, 24 months, they're like, oh my gosh, my revenue's double. It didn't feel like it because it's only a little bit at a time. It's not, oh, we got 62 members in July, but in August, we lost 71 because we lost all those members. And then we pissed off 7 of our good members because classes were too crowded. I was burnt out. I didn't want to deal with them. And it all went down. So I would say that's what they can expect if they work with us and really listen to us.
So let's touch on 2 things that gym members might be, pondering. They get a question in their head. So they're listening to you, right? Here you guys are. You're listening to Sherman. And in your mind, you're going, okay, great. He's a gym owner just like me. And now he runs a marketing company. Number one, how is that possible? Why is he the right person to go to? Because he doesn't have a market. I don't know. Maybe you do have a marketing degree. But you have these individuals who come out. They're like, hey, I went to school. I went to school for marketing. I have a marketing degree. I work for, one of the big 50 companies, and this is what I know. I'm solid at this stuff, right? The other piece is, yeah, you were a gym owner. You had a gym for 13 years. That's tremendous value there, but you didn't sell it. And a lot of these gym owners, if they're in it to kind of win and exit at the right time, a lot of them don't think about exiting, which is also, I think, another flaw. But thinking about their exit and going, well, I should be getting a 4-time multiplier on my EBITDA or 4 to 6. Hopefully I can get it that high on EBITDA. And that exit never happens. They put in all this work, but they never actually sold. So, how can you talk to that a little bit so that way they understand that, there's a lot of value in what you're doing?
Yeah, no, for sure. And you tell me if I'm getting off track. So with us, with me specifically, when I had the gym for 13 years, right? I would say about 5 years in, maybe a little bit less, I got into mentoring for one of the big mentoring companies. I worked with them for about 4 or 5 years, traveled all over the world, California, Sweden, blah, 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 all of that. And when we started Lasso, I remember thinking, I had a little imposter syndrome because I was like, yeah, I know how to run a gym. Yes, I knew how to run marketing for my gym.
Right. But
can I really do this on sort of a scale? But everyone was asking me for help. And I was just like, well, if they're asking me for help, we should, I'm just going to do the same thing I was doing in my gym. And it's funny because I started helping a few people slowly. Then I met my partner, and me being the way I am, I'm just like, well, now this is before my partner. He's just someone that I knew. And I was like, hey, will you run my marketing for me? Because I knew he liked to be in the back end. I really didn't enjoy it, but I had to do it to grow my gym. If my gym didn't grow, my family didn't eat. That's what I did full time. But then I got with him and he was like, oh yeah, I'll run it. I'll do it for free. We'll talk every week. And I was just like, okay. And 2 or 3 months of him doing that, I was just like, there's no way that people won't pay for this. So me and him, we got together. I was like, hey, what if we make this to a real business? Like I'll be sort of the sales guy. You be the marketing guy. You enjoy it. It's a match made in heaven. Now, again, both of us were still gym owners at the time. we're thinking if we can help 5 to 10 gyms, be a little extra cash on the side, run the gyms, and everything will be great. And that's literally how we got into it. So like the thing that makes us really different is that we've actually done this in real world, real life scenario. Like our families depend on, like you said, you have a business degree. They teach you theory, right? You don't know how to, correct. You don't know how to run a business. So same thing with the marketing. They teach you this type of stuff, but like you really don't know how to do it. So we had to figure out how to do it to grow our businesses. And now years later, we're just giving all of that knowledge and more back to the clients that we work for.
Yeah. I think there's no replacement for real world experience in the trenches, doing the things to make them happen because you're backed up against the wall. So you got to figure it out. And I think a lot of these, just the challenge that you have to like overcome in your own mind is, could you go with a traditional marketer that has a marketing degree? Absolutely, you could. I think the big differentiator is working with someone who has real life exposure to the industry in which you're working in. So you want to find a marketer who's running a business that you're running, or who's run a business that you're running currently. So that way they know the language, they know the challenges that you face, they know how to overcome some of those obstacles or hurdles that you have with clients. The other thing that we didn't mention this, but Donald Miller, is famous. He's a marketer. He's a well-known marketer and author. And you are Story Brand certified, which is his program.
Yep.
And so that's another, I think, feather in your cap, so to speak. But as you guys kind of like grow your business, what are probably the top 3 things that gym owners, because you've worked with, hundreds of them. So of all those gym owners, what are the top 3 things that you see that is a commonality and someone else listening could probably glom onto that and go, okay, those 3 things I can do then also today? What can you give them? What advice?
Yeah. So, I would say one thing is you need to make sure, gym owners need to make sure that they have a nurture process set up for their leads, right? That's a big one. Cause everyone thinks like, oh, well, the lead came in today. I called them twice. They didn't answer. So maybe they're not interested. Mm-hmm. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Guys, this is the day and age of busy. So someone may not answer your call for a week or two because they're busy. They may have opted in when they were driving to the airport for a 2-week vacation. Right. Yeah. So they just didn't answer because, and I see a lot of times people, they just don't have a nurture process set up. They don't have it tied to a CRM. So they're like, oh, I'll follow up with them. And they don't do a great job of nurturing leads long term because like you said, a lead is like gold until they opt out. Right. And I have a story from the years of gym ownership that I had. I would have people opt out of stuff, but obviously they would still see my ads and stuff on Facebook. They would come and join the gym. They would be members, and then they would come up to me and say, Sherman, I don't know what's going on. I'm not getting any other emails. Yeah. I don't know why. I'm definitely sending them out. Then I go look. I say, oh, Mike, because you opted out 2 years ago. You didn't like me then.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Right. So these leads, you have to nurture them long term. Just because someone opts out or they don't opt out, you still have an opportunity to close them. So one, you have to have a system to nurture the leads. Right. That's one. The second thing that I think is a huge sort of area of improvement that we could do in the gym industry is we need to make sure that we are actually training people to be good at sales. Like that's sort of my thing. That's sort of my passion. But if they don't become great at sales, like I used to always joke around. I was like, if I came to someone's town, let's say I was training a gym in California and, we all have them. Coaches be like, well, I really don't like sales. I don't want to be, the used car salesman. I'm like, well, you're actually doing this client a disservice, right? And let me tell you why. Let's say that you're at your gym and there's a guy across the road. He's a slimy, sleazy. Their gym is trash, but this guy can sell. So if you don't close this client, you let them leave to go think about it because they want to go check out the other gym. This guy, he's great at sales. He closes them. He gets them to join that gym. They have a horrible experience. They end up stopping that gym 2 months later. You've done them a disservice because had you taken your sales role seriously, they would have joined your gym and had long-term success. But since your ego and your pride was afraid to get hurt because what if someone tells me no, you've actually done a disservice by not becoming great at sales. So I believe in the gym industry, we need to really start training sales professionals to close people and get them signed up. Because again, we work with franchises and we see that they're taking it seriously, right? Like it's not just
the thing that I always say, because you're 100% correct on this one, is I think a lot of gym owners are fearful of the negative connotation or the negative meaning that stigma of the word sales, right? I'm a salesperson. So having that negative stigma of I'm going to go out there and sell you some snake oil, right? Because I'm a salesperson.
correct.
That's I think, okay, what a lot of people are thinking. So I shouldn't be doing sales. And a lot of times they put this in their own head. I'm not good at sales. Well, are you good at talking to people, family and friends about fitness and encouraging them to maybe exercise, influence them to exercise? If you're good at that, then you're good at sales. You just have to think of it from a different lens, right? Think of it from a different angle and a different vantage point, because I always like to say this. Instead of selling people, what you really should be doing is influencing people to make the healthiest decision for themselves.
Yep.
If they're doing that, then sales is obsolete. It's not even an option, right? Because just helping people out. To your point, instead of going across the street to this other guy who's just, hammering deals out, closing deals, but they've got an awful facility. And the flip side of that is you let that person walk over there, go to that garbage gym, have a bad experience. Their first experience now at that garbage gym is what is rooted in their mind as what the experience is for every gym. So next time they come to you, their natural thought is, well, shit, this is going to be no different.
Correct.
Right. But what's the third one?
And I would say the third one is and I'm going to be sort of self-serving here. You should be running marketing.
Mm-hmm.
However, you should know what your marketing is doing. You should know the ROI, right? So, and what I mean by that, when I say that is you should be able to talk to a real person whenever you want, when you're running marketing. Like our clients pay us. Now, like I said, we talk to them every 2 weeks, but we also have the infamous Slack channel where if someone has a question, they can slide into my DM, send me a private message, send someone on the team a private message to get answers. But we really try to do a great job at educating our clients. Because I hear stories now. They're like, oh, I'm with company such and such. I think I'm going to leave because I emailed them 2 weeks ago and I still haven't heard back yet. And for me, the type of buyer I am, right? Like I'm very frugal, but I'll spend money on things that are important. However, when I spend my money, I expect a certain level of service. So for me, I think that you should run marketing, but you need to make sure that you're going to get consistent and clear communication about your ROI that you're getting from spending said dollars, right? Whether it's $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, you should know what that ROI looks like so that you can rest at ease. Because again, most gym owners, like you said in the beginning, they're doing it for the right reasons. They really want to help people. But it is really hard to help people when you are stressed out about money. I've been there early in my gym career. I want to help people and blah, blah, blah. And then one of my friends was like, listen, that's all fine and dandy. I know that sounds good. He was like, but if you can't help or take care of your wife and kids, I don't want to hear you saying you want to take care of someone else. And that stung.
That's the truth, though. So with that being said, everyone listening, you got to build a business, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else around you. So you're priority number one. But in order to be priority number one, you got to figure out that how the hell are you going to operate a business? How the hell are you going to make some money? And in order to do that, regardless of how altruistic you are, how good you are at heart, how much you want to help others, okay, you got to help yourself first, which means you got to put food on the table. You got to make enough money to support yourself. And then you can go out and support others.
Yep. I agree.
Sherman, it's been great, man, having you on the show. We've got Lasso Framework. I'll let you give everyone, where they can find you, but we're also going to put this stuff in the show notes. So Lasso Framework is lassoframework.com. And you can find their brand there. You can reach out to them there. They have some information on their website where you can go ahead and fill out and get a contact form. You'll get in contact directly with Sherman or his business partner. And, there will probably be, Sherman and I haven't had a definitive decision on the resource or tool that you'll be able to receive, but it will be in the show notes, and you'll be able to download that for free and, use that to your advantage, and obviously take advantage of those 3 things that Sherman just told you about. Appreciate everybody listening. Sherman, thank you so much for joining today, man. And we'll see you guys on the flip side.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.